All right, we have Steve Ratner here with us, and you're
You know what
looking.
he brought?
What did he bring the charts?
Wake up the kids.
Well, the kids
Ratner
are
has
getting
the
ready for
charts.
school, but maybe
Actually, I
they
brought
could
cupcakes.
stop.
Oh, good.
I'll
Okay,
take one of
let's go.
those.
Cupcakes and charts.
Cupcakes and charts.
You're
What-
looking at the money race.
The money race, yes. I have two things to tell you about the money
Okay.
race. The first is the extraordinary amount of money that's being spent. May not come as a surprise, but
Yeah.
be surprised by the numbers. And secondly, the fact that Democrats don't have a money problem. They may have other problems, but money is not one of them. So this first chart shows you the total amount of spending that's expected in this congressional race. And you can see it goes back to 2000. These numbers are inflation adjusted, so that increase you see is all after inflation. We're expecting something like $9 billion to be spent on these, just on the Senate and congressional races this cycle. And by comparison, we spent $1.7 billion before adjusting for inflation back in 2000. And just to put it in some more context, in one Senate race, just in Georgia, there's going to be $250 million spent by both sides. And I think many of us around this table can remember when 10% of that would have been a reasonable amount for a state like Georgia in a Senate rate. But $250 million. $250 million could provide something like 20 meals for people who need food. Just to, again, put that in some context of why this is maybe not the best use of our money.
That's unbelievable. So tell me about the Democrats. It surprises me because I've seen articles showing that so many of the massive donors are Republican business people.
And they are, and I'm going to talk about that. But let me show you, before we get to those, or let me show you the whole picture. And let me take 4 Senate races that we've all been talking about a lot. And you can see what's going on here. So the blue bars to the left is Democrats. The red bars to the right are Republicans. The darker colors are what we call hard money, the $2,900.
Right.
That is actually the most valuable money for campaigns because they get discounted television time. And the shaded colors are soft money. These are the billionaires, but also lots of other smaller people.
By the way, it's been a while since I've run. What are the limits now for hard money?
$2,900 for the general.
Per person.
Per person.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Democrats do very well with that, not surprisingly, because they have a lot of small money donors. You can see up in Nevada, the dark blue bar is many times the size of the red bar. But even when you put in the soft money, in Nevada, there's going to be $118 million has been spent by the Democrats to $63 million by the Republicans. So Cortez Masto has outspent Laxalt by almost 2 to 1, and is still looking at what she's looking at.
Yeah.
In Arizona, it's even more remarkable. $128 million by Mark Kelly compared to $47 million for Blake Masters. So he's got.
Well, that's
well
fascinating because all we've heard is about Peter Thiel and his money to Masters, but actually Democrats, like you said, doing exceptionally well on the money side there.
Yeah, Peter Thiel's $10 million is in there, but it still only gets him to $47 million. Yeah. And the most expensive race is Pennsylvania, and also the closest on the money race, $151 million for Fetterman, $121 million for Dr. Oz.
So Democrats are Democrats outspending Republicans nationwide this year?
Yeah. I mean, that is the takeaway from all this. Democrats have raised a good bit more money than Republicans.
So forgive me for asking this next question.
I knew
but
it's not going to end
No,
there.
you just got to ask the question.
Yes.
So have Democrats figured out how to use Citizens United more effectively than Republicans?
Yeah, in part. Yeah, they have. First of all, they do much better in what we call the hard money. You can see, again, the dark-colored bars, the $2,900 money. Yeah. But yeah, they do quite well. Let me show you that on the next chart because this is the so-called soft money. And so your billionaires, Joe, are over on the left. These are the top 50 mega donors. And you can see that the Republicans do substantially contribute the Democrats. 7 of the 10 largest individual donors are Republicans. That is a fact. That little bit of shading, just to clarify, is George Soros, who put $127 million in his PAC, but has only spent $15 million. So the Democrats do get well outraised and outspent by the top 50.
Wait, what does that mean? Is he not spending the money?
He hasn't spent it. He's put it into his political action committee, but it hasn't come out of there yet, so nobody quite knows
what's he waiting for.
Well, you have to ask him that question.
Election tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the election's tomorrow. All right, so let me ask you really quickly on the Republican megadonor side, has the guy that runs the Federalist Society, Leonard Leo, who like inherited $1.6 billion.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that hasn't.
Has that started to be spent yet?
It's not in these numbers.
Not in these
It
numbers.
may show up in the final numbers, but he's not among the top donors at this moment.
Yeah.
But to your point about the Democrats figuring out soft money, so you see we have a huge gap on the top 50 mega donors. But when you add all the outside spending, including many smaller, less wealthy people, smaller organizations, there's actually almost no gap. The Democrats have almost as much soft money as the Republicans. But let me also say, this is not the biggest part of the campaign spending. All this stuff adds up to about $1.7 or $1.8 billion out of that $8 billion I was talking about before. And so most of the money that gets raised and spent is hard dollar money, or money by the official committees, or money by small donors, or the official committees, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, the Republican one, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty surprising. It's not what you would have guessed.
Not at all.
And let's remember just a few days ago where Ted Cruz questioned what Donald Trump was doing, sitting on all his money. Why has he not spent it for the races they need? So, Steve, these numbers are astronomical. What does this portend for 2024? Are we just going to be completely off every possible? Even one of your charts would be off of it.
We're in an arms race, Jonathan. We're in a ridiculous, stupid arms race where enormous amounts of resources that could be put to much better use. And a lot of it has to do with Citizens United. A lot of it has to do with simply the energy that Steve Kornacki was talking about before. People are engaged, and so that includes opening up their wallets. Fundraising's gotten much more sophisticated. And unless we do something about it, the next race is going to be a good bit more expensive than this race.
So the last chart, I'm a little confused. So overall, who's raised the most money this election cycle, Democrats or Republicans?
Democrats, by a margin. I don't have a chart exactly showing that, but when you add up the pieces that we're talking about, the Democrats have substantially outraised them. So the Democrats have problems. Money is not one of them. And so then you have to say, well, what are the Democrats' problems?
Okay, Reverend Al, you interviewed President